Hello again, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is John. I'm a full-time eBay reseller based in Melbourne, Australia. I'm going to talk about, are you more likely to get scammed if you sell expensive items? Is it true that if you sell cheap items, you are not likely to get scammed at all? There's this kind of, I wouldn't call it train of thought, but there are people who believe that if you sell cheaper items, because they're so cheap, buyers aren't going to bother returning them. Or because it's so cheap, they'll just write it off on their end. That's not true. What I've learned is that depending on credit category for starters, but also there are people who will treat a $10 item like diamonds, and there are people who will treat a $1,000 item like it's an everyday occurrence. And so that is so relative. The price doesn't actually prevent the scam. What I believe does prevent scams, though, is by presenting as knowledgeable, specialized, that you are prepared for a potential scam. What do I mean by that? What I mean is if you sell everything, or if like just one of those general kind of stores, it's quite easy to point out the thing that I reckon you don't know much about. So if you're a clothing seller and suddenly there's a random washing machine that you're selling, if I buy that washing machine and I'm a scammer, there's a good chance I'll go, you know what? They probably don't even know how it works. They've probably bought the washing machine from like a white goods dealer, and it's now they want to upgrade, so they have an eBay account. They couldn't be bothered creating another one. They just plonked it onto their clothing one. This is probably the same person who, if the washing machine breaks down, they'll just call the technician anyways. So you know what? I'm going to buy it and I'm going to say it doesn't work. What are you going to do? But I'm not going to do that to any of the clothing items that they sell, because there's a good chance if I say this piece of clothing has a hole at this part, they say, no, it doesn't. We took photos. Here, see? Or send it back to us. And we will assess it. And if it's in the condition that you say it is, then we will refund you the money. Like, there's the potential of being called, the potential of having my bluff be called, because you as a seller are so familiar with the items or the fact that there's a potential that you have a process that will make it harder for me to keep the item or to have my money, just discourages me from trying entirely. I feel anyways. So I've sold in the toy cars category, I've sold toy cars that are $2, and I've sold toy cars that are like $800. And the only difference in treatment that they got was that the $800 car got packaged a lot better than the $2 car, purely because of the rarity, the expectation for the buyer. But in terms of scamming potential, if someone comes to the store to buy that item, they know that there's a track record of shipping that item, there's a track record of selling that item. There's a good chance that if they try and scam me, I've got a process in place. So if you're thinking about, or if you're getting scared about selling expensive items, if you're getting scared and you're trying to figure out what threshold to be on, don't. Because the fact is, if you just think about forget about the internet, for example, just think about the everyday situations that you go into, right? Like, if you go into a butcher shop and you say to the guy, the meat's off, the guy's gonna go, no, because I know my meat. I touch every single slab. I know that the steak's not off. Like, piss off, right? But if you go to, say, a general like supermarket and you say, look, you just pick up you go to the beef section that's next to the dairy section, you know, like the general Coles, Woolies kind of context, and you pick up the meat and you open it, you go, chicken's off. The person that you give it to at the service counter is just the person who works there today but wasn't there yesterday, and they're gonna go, yeah, here's a refund. All right, after you've eaten one, maybe. And I think that's the difference we're going for. It's like, if you go to a generalist place, if you are a generalist store, you are less likely to protect yourself from potential scammers. But if you are a specialist store, if you show that you know your stuff, and you can do that even if you're a big specialist store, scammers will more likely leave you alone. And that's the best thing, right? It's like, you know that if scammers are so rampant on eBay and people keep talking about them every single day on the various forums that we're on, and you don't actually even come into contact with them, that tells me defense is working. That's where you want to be. It's not because you're lucky, it's because you're built to not have them. So that's it really, that's the takeaway. Build your stores so that scammers don't even come across your path. Yeah, specialize. Until next video, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.